Hey YouTube, this is Mike back at you. I'm sorry it's been a while, but I've been busy. I just thought I'd put out a quick video here on our solar setup, and at the end of the video I've got some screenshots of just some of these parts that we've got together here. Just as a little aside note, we are going to put up some wind power this coming summer 2020, so there'll be a big wind turbine here, and we'll put some videos out on that. Hopefully I'll get some shots of putting it up and everything else. But that's coming. As far as solar, I think you guys have seen most of what I've got here for solar, but I thought I'd go a little bit deeper for a little bit added detail. On the top of the shed here, this is my solar shed. I've got 4 panels. These are 230 watt, 24 volt panels, 4 of them. And I've got these all wired underneath and going around the back. The setup that I have here is just kind of a homemade mounting system. I just put some 2x4s on top of the shed and then mounted some aluminum L brackets that I made. Nothing major, just really simple and really cheap. You can see the wires underneath there. Most solar panels come with these little plug-ins that you connect. I usually cut those off and I just go with a positive and negative, and just make sure that you have them separated properly so you know which one's positive and which one's negative. My wires come down off of each of the panels. I've got 4 panels, so we've got 8 wires, a positive and negative for each, and they come through that tube on the roof and they come out through here. This is underneath the back eave, so they stay dry. I've got 4 red, 4 black. And we'll go back inside here and take a look at what we've got set up. I usually I'm storing gasoline here with the batteries. That's probably not the best idea, but that's what I got for now. And then inside the shed is where I keep all the equipment, batteries, the charge controller, etc. So we'll kind of walk through each one of those things. As I said, I've got the wires coming in. And we've got the 4 reds and the 4 blacks. The 4 reds come into this little fuse box here. There's 4 20 amp fuses there, just as a little protection in case we get a surge or anything, it just blows it out. And then the negatives come into that the bus bar there. Just all the negatives come out, and so they're into one. I put these watt meters on here. I put a couple of them on. They're just cheapies from Amazon. Again, at the end you'll see some screenshots. That just tells me what kind of power is coming in from the solar panels. And then I also put these switches on here, these on-off switches that allow me to turn certain parts of the system off if I need to do maintenance and things like that. I've got them labeled so I know which ones to turn off first or which ones to turn off last. So from the panels it goes through the 1 watt meter, and then it comes through that switch, which I can then turn on and off. And from there it goes into, you can see the negative and the positive there, goes into the charge controller. So all my solar power comes into that charge controller, and the charge controller is what's determining what goes out to the battery. That's a Rover Renogy charge controller. I've been really happy with it, haven't had any problems. It's a 40 amp controller, it's working just perfectly. And then you've got the positive and negative going from the charge controller out to the batteries. Pretty simple. And we've got the on and off switch there as well, so I can shut it off. I can shut off power to the charge controller, and I can shut off power to the batteries. So if I need to do maintenance on the batteries or on the panels, I can shut off each section so that I can do the maintenance that I need to do. And that's the other watt meter as well. That's showing me what's going from the charge controller into the batteries. So the watt meters are telling me what's coming in and what's going out. From the battery box then, you've got the 2 large cables. They're both red. Sorry, one should be black, one should be red. I had 2 red, so that's what I used. Those go up into my inverter, and again, that's just I wouldn't say cheap, but a cheap Chinese inverter. It's a 3000 watt inverter, 24 volt, and that basically gives me my AC power for the house, for the shack. You can see there that there's some readings on that showing me that's got 119 going out. and it shows me what my batteries are at as well. So I've got like 4 things that show me what my batteries are at. And as long as they're all matching up, pretty much I don't really pay much attention to it. We moved the cable there. That's the cable that goes out to the shack. We buried that this summer, so that no longer is just hanging from trees. In the battery box here, we've got 8 6-volt Duracell golf cart batteries. I've got these running in series, the 4 there, and then the 4 on the other side. They're all running in series. And then I've got the 2 series joined together in parallel, and that goes out to the charge controller. So essentially what I'm running here is I've got 8 batteries altogether, but it's running as one large 24-volt battery. I've checked these, the water levels and everything else, and I haven't seen many problems. Doesn't look like there's a ton of buildup. We try to keep these charged at 80%. Sometimes in the winter when it's less sun, they drop down if I'm up there, and it's running the refrigerator and everything else. But typically they try to stay at about 80%. I've got this little device here that's supposed to be a decalcifier. Not sold on it yet, but I'll check them in the spring again and see how we're looking as far as calcium deposits on the batteries and the rods in there. So I don't know if it's doing anything, but it wasn't too expensive, so not too worried about it. Backup, of course, is my generator. If we're in the deer season and it's late winter in Minnesota, we get less sun, so we tend to run the generator at night if we need to. Again, if you guys have any questions, just let me know, and I'll post more if I need to. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a great day. All right, thanks.